Perhaps you know how important your mindfulness routine is. Perhaps you are on the side of TikTok that's all about doing your moon rituals and meditating every day, having slow mornings, being really intentive with what you do every single day. Or perhaps you follow people that are really into yoga or, mindset and journaling every day, and you know how important it is, and you consider yourself intuitive, you consider yourself as a part of this community, yet you default to always doing instead of being. And so what I mean by that is when things are not going your way, you default by doing things off of your to-do list. Or if you're an entrepreneur, I work with entrepreneurs, you go and you fix your strategy for the 100th time, or you go and change something on your website for the 100th time, right? And so if this is you, if your default when things are not going according to plan is to go do something, change something, fix something, that means that your masculine, feminine energy is off balance and you're living more in the masculine energy than you are in the feminine energy. And I just want to do a quick disclaimer. Everyone has these energies inside of them. It doesn't matter what your gender is or your identity is. We all have them, and it's all important to balance these, right? So how do I know that you might be experiencing these things? Like, how important mindfulness is, but you always default to strategy? Well, because that's where I was literally a year ago. I always considered myself very intuitive. I journaled for my entire life pretty much up until college, and then I kind of let it go. I had meditated in the past and I found it helpful, but I just couldn't stick to having a consistent mindfulness routine because when things were going my way, I always jumped into doing something, changing something. And so that's how I was a year ago. And then I defaulted to doing because, to be honest, I knew there were things I needed to work on, but it scared me. I was always known to be someone who pushed my emotions down. I was someone who, just like bottled everything up until I couldn't handle it anymore. And let me know if this is something you resonate with, and share that in the comments so that I know I'm not the only one, because I know I'm not. And so because of that, I often skipped doing my meditation. I often skipped doing my journaling. I often skipped practicing gratitude because I didn't want to dig deeper. I was always my existing mindfulness routine was just scratching the surface because down below was something that I wasn't ready to face yet. I was too afraid to face. But after a year of being stagnant in my business, after having, clients, just the messages slow down and not trickle in as much, how finding clients began to feel like a chore for me. Like I actually had to go out and find them and reel them in instead of having them just flood into my DMs like every single other person on Instagram and TikTok brag about. I was beginning to think that they were all lying and that I was doing something wrong, or maybe everyone was just putting up this facade because they were just trying to get more clients. And it was becoming really impossible to predict my income month to month. I'd have a good month and then the next month I would make $0. Or I would have a mediocre month and make $500, and then the next month I'd make $100. It was all over the place, and it was super hard for me to predict, and it was really, really frustrating as an entrepreneur trying to provide for my family. And so up until that point, I had spent a lot of money on coaches and programs that, always toted join my program and you'll make $10,000 a month, or join my program to learn the secret of yada yada. And I realized that spending less money on these programs to fix my strategy was not going to cut it anymore. I needed to actually invest in my mindset, in my inner healing. And even though that investment for me was a $10,000 investment and it scared the crap out of me, I knew that, spending more than $10,000 on a ton of tiny little programs just wasn't doing it anymore, and I needed to go big. And so I made this investment in a mentor, and I began doing an inner healing journey that I now have perfected and bottled up, and I'm going to share with you all here. So if you are here watching, please let me know. I want to know that I'm not just talking to a screen. And if you're watching the replay, give me a hashtag replay so that I can see who's here. But yeah, so let's go over the steps that I took. So step number 1, I first got deeply familiar with my human design. And so if you're not familiar with human design is kind of like a cross between astrology and quantum physics, and there's like a lot of different things. It kind of merges them all together. But every single person has this unique map of who they were when they were born. And this map can tell you a lot about your personality, about your habits, about, your future and past and things that you need to heal with yourself, your weaknesses, your fears, your strengths. And so I love using human design because I can quickly understand who my client is just by looking at their chart. And from looking at their chart, I can usually guess a couple of different areas that they need to work on in their inner healing. And so for me, my human design chart was really insightful because I learned a lot of things about myself that just validated things that I always was self-conscious about, and because this was validating for me, it's no longer something I was self-conscious about because it was written in my design. Oh, so first I got just deeply familiar with my human design. I understood my chart. I understood how to use my chart. And then from there, I used my human design to begin healing my inner child and creating a mindfulness routine that actually works for me. So that's a key part here. Your human design can tell you a mindfulness routine that will actually work for you, one that you'll actually enjoy doing, one that you'll actually want to stick to and commit to. And this is just a PSA for everyone. It doesn't have to look like meditating every single day. It doesn't have to look like journaling every single day. Your mindfulness routine can look at whatever works for you. And so as a result, I began, after, healing my inner child, mending these wounds inside of me, working on my mindset, confronting my ego mind, and actually processing the thoughts and emotions going through my mind, I began waking up way less anxious. I was someone who was chronically anxious. At the moment I would wake up, I was stressed about something. And after I started doing this work, I was no longer anxious. I still am an anxious person. My anxiety wasn't cured because, there's more. It's not just a symptom. Anxiety is not just a thing. It's actually something that's going on inside of you. But my anxiety was not cured, but it was severely decreased. And so I began waking up way less anxious. And I actually began enjoying every single day. Before, I was either stressing about something that happened in my past or stressing about something that was going to happen in my future. And so I wasn't actually living in the present moment and enjoying my day. So as a result, my days were super quick. My days felt like they went by in a blink. Like I woke up in the morning and all of a sudden it was dark out and it was time for bed. And that stressed me out. And now I actually enjoy every single day and my days feel much longer. And like right now I'm looking at the clock, it's 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I've done so much today and I've got so many more hours left in the day. And little things no longer bothered me, like getting cut off in traffic I used to get so annoyed at people. I get so annoyed when I'd be stuck in traffic. I get so annoyed when my sister said something to me that just rubbed me the wrong way. I would get so annoyed when, so many things just triggered me. And no longer do these things trigger me because I've done the work to really heal the source of those triggers. And I feel just an immense relief. Like thinking back to who I was a year ago to who I am now since I've done this healing and I've done this process is so different. It's actually noticeably different because my partner, Richard, worked in a different state for 3 months. Well, he worked this summer. June, July, August. Yeah, 3 months this summer. And so we were apart for 3 months pretty much. We talked, fairly regularly every day. I visited him once or twice. But when he came back home, he said, I don't know what you've been doing, but something has changed in you. You seem so much better than you did in the previous years. Because this is something that we've been, managing in a relationship for the past 4.5 years. And that just solidified that this work that I've been doing is important work for my own journey and health and, mindset and mental health, and also my business, because I also started to see some things shift drastically in my business for me. Because I grew so much as a human, my business needed to grow with me, because the business I had at the beginning, a year ago, no longer aligned with the person who I am today. So I began shifting the messages in my business. I began shifting my content a little bit. Nothing drastically changed, but I just shifted the way I presented myself online, and how I approached, working with clients. I'm in service to my clients. Like, that is my sole duty, is to help people. Whereas my mindset, a year and a half ago was focused on, okay, how do I make money? And I always wanted to help people, but my main stress, my main concern was, how am I going to pay my bills this month? How am I going to pay my rent? And now that I've done this work, I can focus on actually serving and making an impact on my clients' lives. Like I said, that was always something that I valued, but in the forefront of my mind was always, how am I going to pay my bills? So suddenly my content was getting much higher engagement. I had some TikToks go viral out of the blue. I had some of my Instagram Reels go viral out of the blue. I had one video on TikTok gave me 500 new followers just from one video. Meanwhile, like a year ago, I was posting every single day on TikTok and I was struggling to hit 1,000 followers, like struggling. And random people began DMing me saying like, oh my God, I'm so glad I found you right now. Like, I need you in my world. How can I work with you? Whereas before I was the person DMing people first, because that was the only way to start conversations with people. And that was the only way I got clients. Now people are coming to me first. I'm being way more magnetic. And so much shifted in my life. I'm less anxious. I'm more happy. I'm more in body. Like, I'm in my body more than I was before. My business is, booming again. I'm no longer struggling. It no longer feels like I'm forcing clients to come in my programs. I'm just naturally attracting them with ease. I no longer have to question where my income is going to come from every single month. Like, it's starting to become more and more consistent and reliable. And honestly, my strategy never changed. The only thing that changed was my mindfulness practice. And so with the work that I've done, I had months of trial and error. I had some things that didn't work. I had some things that I thought I should be doing because I saw other people doing. And so I wasted a lot of time doing it when I realized it doesn't actually work for me. I have, figured out a formula that helps me and is going to help you, helps my clients. So it's a 4-step formula. Step 1 is finding your human design, getting intimately familiar with your human design. Number 2 is using your human design to then identify areas that we need to heal. Step 3 is getting really close with your intuition, opening your channel, and getting into that quantum space so that you can heal and move the energy that's stuck inside of you. And then number 4 is aligning your business to who you are now and getting your most magnetic self out there so you call in clients with ease. You never have to wonder where your next clients are coming from. And I'm so excited because all of this trial and error that I went through, you don't have to go through, because I bottled this up into a 12-week one-on-one program. You are literally like, I will hold your hand through this entire process, which is so exciting because I wish I had someone who could hold my hand through it the entire time. So if you feel like you're on the cusp of a breakthrough, but you have no clue how to get there, this program is for you, because I will literally walk you through the 4 steps that got me to my business breakthrough. And if you're thinking, I feel like I'm on the verge of a breakthrough in my business, that's your intuition telling you, you are on the verge of a breakthrough in your business. And that's so exciting. So what you choose to do now is going to either get you that breakthrough super quickly, or it's going to make you stretched out, like what happened to me. I was stuck on that breakthrough cusp for literally over a year. And if I knew what I know now, I probably could have collapsed time a lot quicker. So if you are interested in joining this program, if you're interested in kickstarting this, I highly encourage you to jump in now, because the price will be going up soon. go ahead and check out the link in my bio for the application, or you can send me a DM. What will happen, the process is you will either send me a DM asking questions and I'll tell you all the details and we'll start talking right there, or you can fill out the application via the link in my bio, and then I will review your application, reach out to you via DM, and if I think you'll be a good fit, then we can move forward from there. And just clear the air here. If you at any point in the conversation's like, oh, I don't think this is for me, I will help you point you in the right direction, because I am not, I don't want to work and I don't want to pressure anyone into working with me. That's not how I roll anymore. A year ago, Hannah, maybe. Now, no. So that's the magic that you'll learn inside of CUSP. So